The lights in the studio blazed brighter than ever, bathing the glossy stage in gold and silver reflections. The audience buzzed with excitement, every pair of eyes fixed on the setup before them. At the center stood Heidi Klum, elegant as always, dressed in a sequin gown that shimmered with every movement. She was smiling, relaxed, chatting with a knife-throwing performer brought on as part of a talent segment. The mood was playful, filled with laughter and curiosity. Heidi, known for her fearless and fun-loving personality, leaned slightly forward as the performer described his act, explaining how he would throw knives around a human target, demonstrating accuracy and control. The cameras captured every angle, the audience clapped in rhythm, and there was an air of excitement that usually accompanies live television when something unpredictable is about to happen. As the performer positioned Heidi in front of a wooden target, she joked lightly with the judges, pretending to be nervous but clearly playing to the crowd. "I trust you," she laughed, pointing a manicured finger at the knife thrower. He smiled back, bowing slightly before taking his stance. The audience grew silent, sensing the tension rising. The floor manager gestured to roll cameras, and the red recording light came on. Heidi took a deep breath, trying to appear calm as the first knife flew past her side and landed squarely on the target board. The crowd erupted in applause. She turned her head, wide-eyed but smiling, the adrenaline visible in her face. "Okay, that was close," she joked, eliciting laughter from the audience and her fellow judges. The second knife flew, again hitting perfectly beside her shoulder. The rhythm of tension and relief played like a melody in a studio. Everyone was engaged, breath held between throws. Then came the moment that changed the tone of the entire performance. As the performer prepared for his third throw, something seemed slightly off, maybe the angle of his grip, maybe the weight of the knife, or perhaps just an unlucky flick of the wrist. The blade left his hand and sliced through the air, not in a straight, rehearsed line but veering slightly to the left. In a fraction of a second, the knife zipped past Heidi's arm, so close that the movement stirred the fabric of her gown. It struck the wooden board with a sharp metallic clang, the tip embedding itself only inches away from her side. The sound was louder than before, sharper, more aggressive. For a split second, there was total silence. The audience froze, the cameras kept rolling, and even the performer's face drained of color. Heidi's reaction came almost immediately. Her body jolted backward, her eyes wide open in pure shock. The instinctive scream escaped her lips before she could stop it, a sharp, genuine cry that echoed through the soundstage. She covered her mouth with one hand, the other instinctively clutching her dress as she looked down at the knife lodged beside her. Her breath quickened, the tension still gripping the air. It was one of those moments where time seemed to stop, a heartbeat stretched into eternity. She tried to laugh, the kind of nervous laugh people give when they're not sure if they should cry or make a joke, but the tremble in her voice gave away her fear. The audience gasped, and a few even stood, unsure if what they'd witnessed was part of the act or a real accident. Within seconds, the studio crew rushed forward from behind the cameras. One of the producers signaled for the segment to be paused, while a stagehand moved quickly toward Heidi. The performer dropped his remaining knives, visibly shaken, repeating "I'm so sorry" over and over. The host of the show, sensing the gravity of the moment, approached Heidi carefully, resting a reassuring hand on her shoulder. She looked at him, eyes still wide, before taking a deep breath and shaking her head with a disbelieving smile. "That was too close," she said softly, still catching her breath. The crowd began to applaud again, a mixture of relief and encouragement, recognizing that she was unharmed. The performer stood a few feet away, head lowered, clearly mortified by what had happened. One of the crew members pulled the knife from the board, showing the dent it had made, a visible reminder of just how close the near miss had been. After a short break in filming, Heidi was escorted backstage to regroup. The cameras followed her briefly, capturing her composed but visibly shaken demeanor. She sat down on a plush chair, still trying to process the event. A makeup artist handed her a glass of water, and one of the producers asked if she wanted to stop filming for the day. But Heidi, being the professional she is, took another deep breath and smiled faintly. "I'm okay," she said quietly. "That just scared the life out of me." Her words were calm, but her hands trembled slightly as she spoke. The performer came backstage to apologize once more, explaining that his grip slipped at the last second. She reached out and gave him a small reassuring hug. "It's fine," she said, though her tone carried the lingering echo of fear. "Accidents happen, but let's never do that again." Later, when the show resumed, the mood had shifted. The audience was more cautious, the energy subdued. Heidi managed to laugh it off on camera, turning the event into a light-hearted anecdote. "I think I just aged 5 years in 5 seconds, she joked, which drew laughter and applause. Her ability to recover gracefully impressed everyone, though the replay of the knife flying past her was already making its rounds online. Within hours, clips from the incident began circulating across social media platforms with captions like "Heidi Klum's terrifying close call" and "When talent acts go wrong." Fans flooded her comments with concern and admiration, praising her composure and bravery. Later that evening, during a backstage interview, Heidi reflected on the moment with her usual humor. She admitted that despite her years in entertainment and countless live moments, this one truly frightened her. "You always expect excitement on live television," she said, smiling, "but not that kind of excitement." She described the sound of the knife hitting the board, how she could feel the air move beside her arm, and how surreal it all felt afterward, as if it hadn't really happened until she saw the footage replayed. Yet she insisted she bore no ill will toward the performer, emphasizing that live acts always come with risks. "He's a professional," she said, "but it just goes to show, even professionals can have scary moments." By the end of the night, Heidi had regained her full composure, even laughing about it with her fellow judges and the crew. The tension had turned into a memorable story, the kind that becomes part of showbiz legend, terrifying in the moment, unforgettable afterward. Though the knife missed by only inches, Heidi's poise and humor turned what could have been a tragedy into a lesson in grace under pressure. She later posted a brief message to fans online, assuring everyone she was fine and thanking them for their concern. "Just another day at work," she wrote with a wink emoji, her trademark spirit shining through once again. It was a night no one on that set would ever forget, a reminder that even in the glamorous world of entertainment, danger can sometimes slip unexpectedly into the spotlight, and that true professionalism lies not in avoiding fear, but in facing it with strength, laughter, and a steady heart.